Yeah, Neve, I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit of difficulty hearing you. But what I can tell you is that Donald Trump is, as you heard there, just talking about the Laken Riley Act. She, of course, was the nursing student who was killed in Georgia, as the president outlined there. She went out for a run, never came back. And this is something that has really been a cause, particularly for Republicans in this country, for a very long time. They felt this was something that was overlooked by President Biden. And this is something that they eventually now have gotten the attention of. For this president has become now the first piece of legislation he will sign into law, and is of particular interest because it has to do with the illegal immigration, which, of course, has been something that has been a major focus of President Trump, not just as president, but on the campaign trail, and has been a focus of so many of the executive orders, hundreds that he signed in just the last week. So this is the focus of this legislation, is that when it comes to undocumented migrants, if they've even been charged with, not convicted, but charged with any sort of violent crime, they will immediately be deported. So this is what this act is all about. It's called the Laken Riley Act. And this is what the U.S. president is holding this event for, to sign this into law, being made into a very big deal. Of course, the family of Laken Riley there present, as well as other victims' families who have been who have had children that have been killed by violent criminals who are also undocumented. We should also point out the president talking about another major piece of news that's just occurred in the United States in just the last hour, and that is a lot of confusion over a very sweeping piece of executive order that has really shaken the community and all across the United States and even the world, and that is another piece of executive order that has to do with federal funding that affects not only programs known as things like Head Start or funding for NGOs, and that is a freeze on federal funding. It was to go into effect as of just about 24 hours ago. It was halted by a federal judge, and as of just the last couple of hours or so, we understand that that has been temporarily paused. But according to a press secretary, the White House press secretary, even though that has been paused, it is still going to go into effect. And we heard the president defending that there just moments ago. So the president's still talking about that. He is lengthy, but he certainly has the focus of these executive orders that he is championing.
Indeed. All right, that's Kimberly Halkett outside the White House. Let's go back inside the White House and listen in again
these criminals
to
and to bring
Donald
them
Trump.
because they didn't want to inconvenience us or have us do a second flight, and that's what they did. And I appreciate it. And I do appreciate the people of Colombia are wonderful people, and the representatives really acted well. And I appreciated they took back that tough talk. But, you know, we may have tough talk from others, but it's not going to mean anything. They're going to all take them back, and they're going to like it, too. They're going to like it. They're going to take it back, and they're going to like it. Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And tough. That's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens. And these are illegal alien killers, criminals at levels that nobody's ever seen before. And you would have known that, and you were there when I said it. I said everybody that's bad is going to be thrown. If you look at Venezuela, Venezuela's crime is down 77%. because they've taken their gang members, their prisoners, their drug dealers, their drug lords. They've shipped them all into the United States. Many other countries, their crime is way down, and our crime is not doing well. But we're going to have it do really well very soon, and we're shipping all these people back where they came from. And now, before I sign the Laken Riley Act into law, I would like to ask Laken's really incredible mother, who I've gotten to know. A very sad day I got to know her. But this is an amazing tribute to an amazing young person. And if you could come up, Allison, and say a few words, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Trump. We would like to thank Senator Katie Britt for her diligent bipartisan work to get this bill through the Senate. We'd also like to thank Congressman Mike Collins.
Okay, Donald Trump, he's handed over the baton temporarily, hasn't he? Also, they're talking about how he will sign an executive order later, as well as signing in his first law of the Laken Riley Act, but he will also sign various executive orders, one to instruct the Defense Department to prepare a migrant facility at Guantanamo. Let's cross again to Kimberly Halkett, who's outside the White House, where Donald Trump has been speaking. So, Kimberly, this is one of the executive orders that he will be signing, one of several, by all accounts, talking about preparing a migrant facility at Guantanamo.
And given that there are 300 plus, I was not aware of that one. I apologize. That's not one I have read in. I am not. You got me. Sorry. That's just not what I was prepared to talk about. I'm sorry.
All right,
Nick.
don't worry about it. Well, there's plenty of time to talk about it. There's lots of other things to talk about after all. So tell us more about what other executive orders we're expecting.
I've got plenty others I can talk about.
Yeah, you go ahead.
How about we talk about this one? Yeah, you know, there are so many. That's when there's so many going fast and furious. There are so many I didn't know about. You know what one we can talk about that's interesting, though? The one that our audience will be interested in is one that was signed earlier today. And that is one that has to do with the widespread campus protests that were taking place all across the United States. Now, I was told by the White House earlier today that this has already been signed, but we've been waiting all day for a press release about this, and we haven't seen it. So I don't know if it's been signed or not, but this has to do with the pro-Palestinian campus marches that have taken place this past summer. And what the White House is saying is that these were anti-Semitic.
Kelly, I'll just jump in there just for a second and come back to you in just a second, because it's just at this moment, of course, the US President Donald Trump is signing in the Laken Riley Act, his first act that he's signing in as 47th president. A reminder that this is legislation requiring the detention of immigrants living in the US illegally. So there you go, handing over the pen of the first act that he's signed in, this Laken Riley Act. Kimberly, just remind us again what that's all about.
Yeah, the Laken Riley Act has to do with the fact that there have been quite a large number of violent crimes that have been committed by undocumented migrants, according to the president. And so, as a result, this act is a result of that. He was elected because many of his supporters claim that they are frustrated by the large number of crimes they say have been committed by undocumented migrants, including Laken Riley, who was a nursing student in February of 2024 who was killed when she went out for a jog. And they say that had this individual been apprehended, given his criminal history, that this crime would not have been committed. So now what this act does is it says that any undocumented migrant, even if there is a charge of any sort of violent crime, not a conviction, but a charge, they can be deported. So that's what this legislation, now law, does, is it will require the removal of any sort of person who is undocumented without a conviction.
All right, Kimberly, thanks for that. Kimberly Halkett reporting there as things look like they're wrapping up at the White House after the US President Donald Trump has signed in his first act as the 47th president, the Laken Riley Act.